I've been going to Camp Merri-Mac since the summer after 3rd grade. It's like a second home to me. The scenery is amazing. It's surrounded by these gorgeous, towering mountains that always have a bit of mist surrounding them like a halo. There's a small creek that runs through the whole place, leading into good old Lake Doris, where you can swim and canoe in her cool waters. Some nights, if we're lucky, we may sleep at the highest point on camp for a night and gaze at all the stars we can't see from home. Camp is a wonderful experience. If you've ever been to summer camp, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But one thing that's interesting is it can be terribly intimidating. With packing 20 teenage girls into a small living space with limited supervision? I mean, nothing could go wrong, right? But I found that every year I go, I meet the most amazing people, and the whole cabin just becomes one big extended family. One day last summer, we were all sitting around, braiding hair, telling stories, all that good stuff, when one girl said, "What if we all went to a Merri-Mac boarding school?" We started to entertain the thought, and another girl said, "We'd probably all hate each other eventually." And then I started to wonder, why would this group of girls be friends here, but not at school? As a result of going to camp, I've learned many values, such as kindness, courage, and compassion. I've also learned how to get along with all types of different people. These are life skills and values that will stay with me forever, and I fully believe that after every 4 weeks at camp, I'll come back a much better person. But what I didn't understand was why I wasn't getting these values in this character-rich environment at school. I realized that there's a pretty big difference between camp and school, because schools focus on teaching content, while camps teach character. Current school curriculum is aimed at educating the public so that they can become productive and well-functioning professionals. According to our school's mission statement, the purpose of Mountain Brook Schools is to provide an effective, challenging, and engaging education for every one of our students. Notice how the word education is used, not schooling. While these are two similar terms, they are often misused. Schooling is a culmination of knowledge and information, but education is deeper, and it's richer. It includes knowledge, but also life skills, application, and personal growth, like what I was learning at camp. I think of schooling as developing students, while education develops people. In other words, with a good schooling, you can learn to read, or to write, or to solve algebraic equations. But with a good education, you can use your schooling and apply it to the real world. With this in mind, I think our education system should foster character building and ethics, as well as intellectual growth. Think about it. Middle school and high school is the perfect opportunity to teach this sort of thing, because psychologically, it's one of the most vital and dynamic times of ethical development. During middle and high school, kids are at risk in the development of their moral and ethical choices and behaviors, meaning that their sense of morality can be easily negatively influenced, leading to poor choices. Currently, the responsibility of teaching kids ethics and strong character lies with parents, coaches, or youth ministers. But for half the day while these kids are at school, they are missing out on character as a vital part of their education. The effects of this lack of ethical education can be immediately seen in the form of high rates of bullying and academic dishonesty, which are counterproductive to the efforts of school. Students must feel safe and comfortable in their environment in order to learn effectively, and character education can help to create this. I think the first step students can take towards this welcoming climate is to prioritize a list of values that are important to them, and then use this list to formulate an honor code. This way, students have an active part in making the code, which makes them more involved with their school and open to character education. Students could even dictate consequences for honor code violations. Also, this allows schools to set a high standard of character for the students, so that kids strive to be the best they can be. This way, schools can teach kids ethics, even if their home lives are unstable, or if they're not held to a high standard of character outside of school. Also, ethical decision-making skills can and should be implemented, but without a separate program or more assignments. Instead, the way a certain topic is taught can be changed to fit ethical dilemmas. For example, take a traditionally tried topic, add in questions about morals or ethical discussions, and the topic becomes much more interesting to students. In fact, one teacher noted that the kids were more engaged than they'd been in weeks, grappling with big questions about values, character, and right versus wrong. Students crave this sort of ethical development because they start to develop their ethical decision-making skills, and that they begin to cope with questions that they are simply unprepared to deal with. So, by entertaining this desire for an engaging ethical experience, teachers can introduce topics in new and exciting ways. Through character education, schools can change the way students act, learn, and think about their world. Kids can become better, more wholesome people. Think of a world where schools are safe places children go to learn and be the best they possibly can be, both in academics and in society. These children today will become tomorrow's adults, and they will lead us into a grand future. As JFK once said, children are the world's most valuable resource, and it's hope for the future. Thank you.